Let's check. That's the perspective we want. Start drawing with boxes again. Actually, I could draw it directly. But I think there still need a demonstration for it showing the preciseness. To show you clearly. When I paint it excitedly, I will broadcast painting and also chat with you. Look here, it looks like in the 3-point perspective. There is a vanishing point above. Then there is another vanishing point there. Similarly, there is the third vanishing point here. Well, lower the transparency of this perspective image. Then let's draw it. Actually, this building could be taller. This horizontal bar should be lower, but that's okay. Let's draw it in such frame. We could reduce the arrows. When we start, this frame should be in your picture. But after a long time practicing, it will be in your heart. You may think it so silver, but it's true. Maybe better in your brain so that these words appear normal. Based on this perspective, we could draw some components. To reach its contour and shape. In this view, you may deem that the cross is huge. But I really wanted to create a little prop. So original paintings lays emphasis on details and shaping. It's different from industrial molding design. The latter need more accurate molding. It's absolutely accurate, but original painting doesn't need to be so extravagant. Basically, reasonable is enough for it. Original painting is comprehensive. We should concentrate more on design and final shading, especially the design. This crook is too extravagant, like arrows. It should be resemble a flower pattern of Baroque style. Adjust this part. Here is a circle actually. Make some adjustment of this image. Scale this down. Merge these two layers. You can also use this transform too. It becomes more extravagant. Gradually, we finish the perspective part. Next, time for my favorite lines eliminating. Well, start to eliminate them. The important things should be said many times. Keep this layer, then create a new layer. Its transparency could be lower. This may transform its shape. By painting it in another perspective, there must be some changes in shape. Don't modify lines repeatedly when drawing. It requires you to finish lines at one time as you can. At the beginning, when you follow the tutorial or practice yourself, you may find yourself strenuous, but remember to hold on and you will pass. Hold on it. All success are not a coincidence but practice to be a must. They gather experience from lots of practice, including the masters you know. Great original painting masters are not born to be so great. They also took steps like us. Because they haven't made or even seen these mistakes. It presents that success and good painting skills need years of collection. That's why they are these masters. And so are we, rookies and ordinary painters of original painting. We need to practice more diligently to solid the foundation. To be frank, I want to say it for a while. That I'm not emphasizing the volume of your practice. That is also another expression I hate all the way, like when you sketch a lot with the books piled higher than you. You will become a master of the sketch. When you draw all day for one kind of painting, that you are good at it. You cannot become a master in this field, even with your books piled as high as 2 Yao Ming's height. The most important thing is to devote into your work, with no whim seized. But notion of being responsible to yourself and loyalty to your work. This is merely the sketch. You should also put your design ideas in it, and your design language should be enriched gradually as well. You could explore it or make some experiments, but remember to be focused on your objective. Take the graffiti and speed paints of these masters, for example. It seems that they are drawing casually at ease. Just like draw for fun. Every day they seem to draw for play and make money. But it is just surface. They may make jokes when drawing, but they are also drawing with detailed designs. They may paint across, gossiping with you from the daily doings. And you may feel they easily to paint well. Following the perspective lines, I gradually formed the cross in this perspective. With such a grand style that I could even hear the chants praising the god. Pay attention to choose your practice image for facsimile. Don't choose a complex one. When you start to facsimile, please must find a simple object with clear convergence and geometries. It could be a computer graphic work, model, or original painting. But it must be a design image rather than matte painting or advertising painting, with such a strong modifying feeling. Or its design will be weakened much. The structures will be blocked by visual effects and characters. Maybe that's the main reason for you uneasy to check, so we tend to find some original painting materials like weapons, little props to practice like me. Paint its bottom. Make some cracks on it. Like this place, I didn't decide to design it as an embedded or an embossment one. Let's make it a wooden hole. There may be some cracks on it. Hide the sketch below. Then I could modify this boldly. Sketch brings a lot of fun. When finishing this design, the multi-element adjustment, like for colors and visual effects, the sketch should be weakened then gradually. We should focus on the general effect and overall molds gradually. But Sketch is still the compulsory class for starters. Actually, some masters will draw Sketch now, but theirs may be a little bit casual. Look, when drawing like this, we could paint lights and shadow. Well, next, I need to color it and then composite it. Today's lesson is also close to its end. Well, hoping what I'm drawing and lecture content will enlighten you to draw. Have a try and then succeed. You may check the successful cases. It explains how the teacher drew and you may do it better. In this way, you could draw it better than me. I sincerely wish you could do better than me. So that it means that my method works. Of course, if not, it doesn't mean this method to be useless. It calls for time and practice. Actually, I highly emphasize the latter one. As for the former one, the Thailands, I am highly concerned about them. You may know that there are brilliant youths born in this industry. They may be high school students, hot masters. One of their paintings would be charged by the number of characters, tens of thousands yuan for each character. He or she could do nothing with the reward of one painting. It's so cool. The coolest part of original painting is to draw and play at the meantime. The supreme level of painting is that all I paint have demands, rather than to paint all you need. That's my target in next year. This is a kind of acknowledgement of our scene art. It means what we conquer the market. We often say the latter as a compromise with market. Also, some master hand said that it's your capacity decide you need to make a compromise. They're both so absolute. All in all, try to be a good child to learn the painting. Let's take it as a belief and the career of rest of my life. Painting's like a mirror. Your diligence will present in your work. You can have no talents and opportunities. But once choosing the painting, be persistent. Well, that's nearly the end of this lesson. It's over and you could still watch me for a while. Pay attention to the perspective relations. That is to say, design a group prop first. Find its convergence according to its simple geometries. Another obvious presentation. Then find the basic form box. And draw it in the perspective. You could choose 3 basic ones or even fish-eye perspective. For the simpleness of geometry's convergence, you may not to be affected by the patterns and textures. Then you may further design it with operation like adding some patterns to add feelings of craftsmanship. You could attach it with wooden textures. And add some cracks at the corners. You could get setting image in the perspective you want gradually. Just like to build a mansion. The first thing to do is not to setting windows and place for, but to dig its foundation, solder it, and reinforce it with rebars and other fundamental operations. What we do now is the fundamental building of original painting. It's a more spiritual one. I'm now inculcating you with this. Don't pursue it fast when you're painting, but steadily. You may find many of my works are of no lines, but with split materials and brushes for textures. Why should I love to draw sketch? Because it could let me make more designs. Besides, I'm one of the beneficiaries from sketches. When switching the job, I choose to design with sketch at first. Then gradually add the colors. And then this method, I fully believe that you are all suitable for this field. Obviously, there is a living successful case. See you next lesson. Next, we'll learn about how to use lines to present texture. This lesson is nothing about texture, then we leave it later. Please be patient about the updates of this course. You could practice more within the intervals of updates. See you next lesson. Bye.